Today marks the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. Uh, do we say IDIVA? I'll find out shortly. A day dedicated to raising awareness and advocating for the end of violence against women and girls worldwide. The day also marks the launch of the Unite campaign, a 16-day activism initiative aimed at raising awareness and mobilizing action to end violence against women. The campaign culminates on International Human Rights Day, December 10. Women's Media Watch Jamaica plays a vital role in addressing gender-based violence. And to discuss the important campaign and the significance of IDIVA, I'm being joined by the program manager for We Talk for the reduction of gender-based violence, Ruth Howard. We Talk is, it's a campaign, We Talk Facts, focusing on reducing gender-based violence, all right? So Ruth Howard joins me now. Good morning, Ruth.
Hello, good morning.
How are you?
I am doing well, giving thanks for the sunshine today.
Excellent. Am I correct to say IDIVA?
It is not IDIVA, it is IDIVA. Remember that double at the end.
IDIVA. Oh, IDIVA.
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds like something French. IDIVA. All right, I like it. All right, so this campaign, this We Talk Facts campaign, and the 16 days of activism and the role of Women's Media Watch. I wanted to roll it all into an explainer for the listeners for me.
All right, sure, no problem. All right, so let's start with the global perspective, which is IDIVA, International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. This is a day that was started because of a realization of a need to do something deliberately and specifically to help reduce and prevent the high levels and numbers of violence against women, not just even in Jamaica or the Caribbean, but all across the globe. So countries around the world observe this day as a time to just reflect, look at what has been done so far, and recommit to taking further action to ensure that we create a safe world and safe communities for our women and girls. Now, bringing it locally in Jamaica, we have several different women's rights groups and groups in general who observe this day. WMW Jamaica is one of those groups. So we used to be called Women's Media Watch. We've been around for 35 years, and we do what we call ART, A-R-T, which is advocacy, research, and training. So over the years, we've put on a lot of workshops. We've done a lot of just awareness raising and advocacy activities on behalf of the rights of our women and girls. This year, under the We Talk project, which we started in 2022, we are implementing a campaign called We Talk Facts, fostering a culture towards safety and support. Now, we want to look at those words, safety and support. We think it's very important for persons to recognize that we as a country, we as individuals, have to take specific actions to make sure that our society is safe for women. And what we know is that it is not. The statistics tell us that 1 in 4 women and girls in this country experiences some form of intimate partner violence or sexual violence over the course of her life. And I always tell people, look around the room you are in and count it off. 1, 2, 3, abuse. 1, 2, 3, abuse. That gives you a pretty good idea of how common and prevalent this is and why it is important to have days like today. So the campaign is being rolled out across our social media platforms as well as on traditional media, which is the TV, the radio, the newspapers. And we are hoping to encourage members of the public to join us in raising their voices and speaking out against violence against women, in sending messages of support to survivors of violence, and to also just work together to create an environment that fosters safety and support for our women and girls.
Does violence against women, Ruth, in the Jamaican context, does it have a socio-economic slant? In other words, do we see this more prevalent at the level where people are struggling to make a living, or do we see it in situations where people are accomplished and well off?
No, it is not. It carries different faces, it carries different names, it carries different outfits, but it is everywhere. It is everywhere. You see that 1 in 4 statistic, it is not based in one socioeconomic class. It is based in all of them. Mm-hmm. What we have learned is that there are some classes where they can hide it better than others because they have the money to do so. Mm-hmm. But it is there nonetheless.
Mm-hmm. I often struggle, Ruth, I must confess, to pulling the strands apart, the two strands. One, gender based violence, and the other, violence against women. And I don't know if the messaging from organizations such as the one you represent, based on your approach to messaging, if it is a strategic joining of the two, or if it is that enough is being done to separate them, or there's no need to separate them. Speak to that for me.
All right, so for IDFA, the focus is on violence against women. But I do understand the question you ask. It is a question we get in our workshops too, is what is the gender-based violence that we're talking about and how does one distinguish or identify it? So gender-based violence, in layman's term, is violence a person experiences predominantly because of their gender or that predominantly affects persons of a particular gender. For women and girls, what we have found is that this they tend to be more affected by the gender-based violence than the men. It tracks back to the social norms and beliefs that we have about women and girls, about their bodies, how their bodies ought to be treated, about the roles that they ought to play in society, and to the power imbalances that often exist, especially in the domestic spaces, where women and girls tend to be expected again to do certain types of jobs, and when they don't, then they are treated a particular way. Yeah.
Hear you on that. All right. So, insofar as this year is concerned, the 16-day activism campaign or initiative culminates International Human Rights Day, December 10. Is there anything special to mark the end of this period of activism on December 10?
So, as WNW, we will be doing several different activities during the 16-day period. So, today, we will be joining the Jamaica Aid Support for Life in their silent protest that is taking place and starts at 2 o'clock at the Police Officers Club. But later in the night, we will be going to Mary C. Cole Hall, where we will be having a discussion around the Domestic Violence Act, whether there should be continuity or change. And that will take place at the Mary C. Cole Hall Senior Common Room from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. It's open to the public. We invite everyone to come, listen to our panel, ask questions that they may have, and find out why we believe that the Domestic Violence Act needs some key changes. Then on Sunday, we will be having our online anti-GBV workshop under the theme, Yes We Can, how to powerfully stand against genderless violence, and against gender-based violence, And this is something that if persons want more information, they can contact us directly about at hello@wnwja.org. On Tuesday, December 3, we will be part of an AWID regional hub under the theme Connect, Heal and Thrive. And on Thursday, December 5, we will have our Thursdays in Black peaceful protest in Papine Square, where we will be standing peacefully, bearing placards, chanting, engaging passers-by in conversations on the importance of speaking up and taking action to stop violence against women and girls. And again, that's open to the public.
Hear you on that. Thank you very much this morning for spending time here, Ruth, and we wish you, your team, your collaborators all the very best with these activities.
Thank you so much for listening to us today. Thanks. Bye.
You're welcome. That's the program manager for We Talk for the reduction of gender-based violence, talking about the significance of IDVA, Ruth Howard. After the break, we take some calls on this Monday morning.